What is up, everybody? I know y'all not seeing us right now, and I do
Yeah.
apologize for that.
I was like, am I missing something?
My bad, people. I wasn't paying attention. What is up, everybody? Welcome to a fresh take. Jack, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good. How about yourself?
I am doing great. So, as you can see by the title, we talking Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the movie, not the video game. And I'm gonna go and tell you right now, y'all see it. It's spoiler filled. I don't want to
Yep.
hear your mouth. So, you have the customary 10 seconds to remove yourself if you ain't seen the movie yet. But I gave y'all a week. I think I'm fair. Fair.
Right.
That would be fair. Fair. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you can check out the Winging It blog at the Winging It blog crew.blogspot.com or the Winging It blogcrew.com if you want to check the spoiler free review on the blog. So I need to start leaving a link in that. I thought I added it, but I didn't. So I need to go and do that. But yeah, blog is back, by the way.
Nice.
So
nice.
But yeah, we are talking Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And the thing is, I enjoyed the first one.
Yep.
It was a pleasant surprise. Like, it really was a pleasant surprise. I wasn't expecting much. My expectations were, it wasn't low, but they were like reasonable. I wasn't acting the fool.
Oh, they were low for me.
Yeah, so I wasn't acting the fool about, oh, this is gonna be the best thing since sliced bread. No, I was like, okay, I wanted to be good. Let's see what they do. And the changes that they made to this to make the adaptation work.
Yeah,
like the whole thing with the rings actually being teleportation devices or multi-dimensional wormholes, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it saves on airfare.
I mean, you saw within this movie, they made it to Hawaii using a ring.
Yeah. I would, man, dude, I need that. I would never have to worry. I wouldn't have a car.
That and sensu beans. Those are like the two key things you need in life, man.
Yeah. So if you watch through the first movie, Jim Carrey, first of all, Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik is more animated than the CG characters in both films.
Mm-hmm. But
it's Jim Carrey, and I love this version of Jim Carrey.
Right.
I like Jim Carrey. I like comedic Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
He's OP when he's doing comedy. And at the end of the first film, he gets marooned to this mushroom planet, slight dig, but to this mushroom planet. And essentially that's where the movie starts. It picks up right there.
Right.
With him literally going insane.
Trying to figure out how to make good mushroom tea.
Yeah. If you saw the movie Castaway, prepare to laugh. Because they pretty much did. Because that first sequence was like, what, 10 minutes?
Yeah.
It's not a short sequence.
No. I mean, they go through the whole thing of him trying to different experiments and all this other stuff with the hair from Sonic. And yeah, it's a whole thing.
But it's hilarious. It's hilarious. Because he's literally, you're seeing this genius, albeit evil genius, literally go insane.
Right
in front of your face.
Yep. Because I mean, they don't really expound on like how long he's been there.
Yeah.
But it's long enough for him to go crazy.
Yeah. But he is still a genius. So he makes an antenna. He reaches out to somebody.
Yeah.
And that's how he meets Knuckles, which what do you think about Knuckles?
So you mean as a character or like kind of his intro?
His intro and how they use him in the movie.
Now his intro to me was kind of weird. Because I'm not too big into the lore of Sonic, but they seem like there was this war between like the owl people and how do you pronounce it? The what's Knuckles is Itna, yeah.
Yeah, the Echidnas, yeah.
And Echidna. So for them to like, I guess get the sense of Sonic from the power surge that Robotnik shot out, they show up, and so I'm like, okay. But I didn't. To me, it still didn't make sense of why they showed up. And I understand, like towards the end of the movie, they express the war between the two, and Knuckles saying he went to avenge everything. But this being the intro, I don't know. I didn't care for it.
Yeah, the only thing that saved that intro was the fact that Jim Carrey was there.
Yeah. Suggestion that they partner up and making it a little bit funny. But yeah, Knuckles is showing up out of nowhere with a whole crew. On top of that, like it
Yeah.
wasn't even like the same. It wasn't even like they looked like him. They
Mm-mm.
looked
It was
like
somebody else.
right human versions of his crew. But I don't know. I didn't care for it.
Yeah. Now Tails is in this because you saw him at the end of the last film, and
Mm-hmm.
he's in this and he's trying to track Sonic. I kind of like how they did that because they took a couple things from the anime with
Mm-hmm.
that. I'm like,
Yep.
okay, that's interesting. Y'all took a couple things from the anime, a couple things from the cartoons in response to Tails
Right.
and his whole thing with Sonic. I did like the fact that they kept the fact that Tails he's a genius, but
Mm-hmm.
since he only had himself because everybody else in his village just pretty much ostracized him because he had two tails and he was smart.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have anybody to talk to, so most of his inventions they work, but
Mm-hmm.
he didn't have nobody to test them out on. So
Right.
usually he has to like fix them on the fly,
Right.
which I
Yep.
thought was actually cool and stuff like that. Also, and I said this Sunday on the podcast, I like the way that they differentiated all three of their powers, especially with their light, the way they played with the lights.
Yep. Exactly.
Because at any point in time when the three of them actually power up, the rings of their eyes would glow.
Mm-hmm.
Even Tails would glow
Yeah. Even
yellow.
Tails. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I actually like how they're doing this. Um, the look, most times in these CG style movies where you go half and half, I hate the humans.
Yeah. I mean,
I do.
maybe it's just because it's not even the acting part.
Yeah,
Is
it's
it's
just
just their implementation
yeah.
is
But
bad.
this one, they actually made it make sense.
Right.
A little bit. Well, no, they actually made it make sense because the whole thing this time, the movie isn't centered on him having a family and all that stuff. They already did that.
They already did that.
This is the whole teenage years. This is the part where um back in the 90s, Sega was trying to say, look, the plumber is for kids, Sonic is for teenagers.
Right.
It kind of played into that a little bit.
Right.
And basically Sonic he ain't rebellious, he's just aggravating.
Yeah. And that's what they express. It's just, I mean, you have to understand. I mean, he's used to being out on his own, doing his own thing. And now he wants to be a superhero all of a sudden, like kind of like Batman and so he's trying to save the world, but messing it up at the same time. And they're trying to express that family aspect throughout the movie. Like, granted, yeah, they played on it in the first movie, but they make sure they kind of touch on it every so often throughout the movie. And that's kind of how they did in the beginning of the movie of, hey, look, we noticed that, you was gone this morning and then you're tired now as we come out fishing. And then in the newspaper shows that you destroyed another block because you're trying to be a superhero.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, was not entirely his fault.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
I give it. It wasn't his fault, but that was something I felt was interesting too. Because when you think about Sonic, do you ever think about Sonic as a hero of more than just the little small animals?
No, not like that. Yeah, I mean, 'cause even when they were talking about him in the different series they've done, he was just hanging around and just he'd see Robotnik do something, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go mess with him."
Yeah,
like, he was aggravating. He was just aggravating. He just happened. The guy he was pissing off, he made him go crazy. Like in the games, he made him go crazy.
Yeah.
In this, he was already crazy. He was just evil. So, I did like the fact that they did touch on that, and they didn't. Another thing too, they didn't drag it out. They did that one scene, and that was
left it alone. Yeah.
Like we get it. Don't keep dragging it out. The reason why I said I would love to have rings to save on gas. So the sister from the first movie is back, and she's getting married. So that's where the whole Hawaiian thing comes into play. And that's what I'm saying. Like the humans aren't really in it that much when you actually think about it. They actually have more time with Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and a lot of the CG, which is actually pretty good, by the way. Than you think. You know? But the Hawaii stuff was actually not bad, considering. Because I thought it was gonna be worse. I thought it was gonna screw that up. That up. But to be completely fair, I love the sister.
Yeah, the
The
fact that I would be on the same warpath she's on if that
yeah,
happened to me. Because it's like I'm assuming we've been together this long to where you've said you want to marry me, and we go through this whole thing. We come to Hawaii, and then I come to find out you're just an agent
a gun.
trying to get Sonic, and so all this has been false.
And,
Yeah,
and the funny thing
and
about it was the bikini waxer.
yeah,
I like, now, hold on now.
everybody.
Everybody was a gun agent. And if you don't know who Gun is from like the Sonic Adventure games.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. They brought in different stuff. They just adapted it to the movie.
Right.
So Shamar Moore, gun agent.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, like, when she flips out, it's like, dude, it's understandable. Like, she ain't flipping out because at first I thought she was gonna flip out because old boy was there. No.
Yeah, she actually minded her manners with him this time because usually she don't like him.
Yeah, but I will say though, the funny thing about the whole phone ringing.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, she says she's gonna kill you, so I'm like, bruh. And then because at this point, you know what? We missed something because we do need to go back to it. The dance off.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so Sonic and Tails, after Robotnik goes to Earth and pretty much has Knuckles just straight up mollywop Sonic,
tear the house up,
yeah,
destroy Sonic, everything,
and Tails has to come through with the win.
Yeah.
So they find that okay, we got to go to Siberia to find because the map that he has, that little piece of parchment that he had from the first movie was actually a map.
Yeah.
They have to go to Siberia because that's where the owl statue is. That point with where the compass is. That'll point them to where the Master Emerald is. That's located on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So they go to Siberia. Tails tries to use his translator device. It's saying the wrong phrases.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, oh, because I'm like, oh, this is some Russian mob stuff. Because because like in the first movie, there's a bar fight.
Right.
There's an old school bar fight. I'm like, they finna have a bar fight. Not exactly.
Yeah, because they were doing the whole checklist thing with that one. Yeah.
And so this one is not a bar fight. This one is a Russian dance-off. Not an 80s dance-off, a Russian dance-off. Which I gotta give them dudes props. I don't know who those dancers were. They did a spectacular job.
I didn't see that coming because, for one, you don't know what they're talking about because I'm assuming they're speaking in Siberian or whatever it is.
They speak in Russian. I understood some words, but I didn't know what they were saying.
So the fact that this big swole dude, and I'm like, oh, they about to get this work.
Yeah.
And then he just starts dancing. And I mean, like, not something stupid, but just like on some cultural type dance moves and killing it, by the way.
And brought his folks with him. His folks was like, he started out, then one dude to come in, then the other dude to come in, then another dude. By the time it was like 5 dudes. They was like, and what? And what?
As far as I'm concerned, Sonic and Tails lost. But
yeah, they lost.
Still, I understand it's got to be for the movie.
Yeah. Like, dude, they got destroyed. I'm sorry. Sonic and Tails got beat in that way. When you see it, you're going to be like, bruh. Yeah, the guy, I think they killed him with dance because the guy does fall down and he just like starts shaking. I'm like,
right,
with a heart
attack. That's his life.
But it was, nobody can say they saw that coming. Nobody. There's not one person that can say they went into that theater and said that was going to happen.
Yep.
Not if you saw, because the first thing you're like, oh, this is going to be another bar fight.
Yeah.
Especially when the dude turned around, I'm like, oh, snap, this is going to be some Russian mob mess. I'm like, oh, snap, Sonic, how you going to get out of this? And no, this dude is a dancer. And the lady beside me, she couldn't hold it no more. She just bust out laughing.
Well, I'm glad somebody in your theaters laughed because it was just me, my kids, and their mom. We the only ones that laughed.
Man, my theater, you would have thought we was at a black theater. I wasn't at the black theater. You would have thought we was at a black theater because they was laughing right on time, right on cue when they were supposed to. But yeah, I was sitting there, I'm like, dude, I did not see this coming. A full-on 4-minute dance off.
Yep.
That was saying the comedy in here works.
It does, and that's the thing. Like they made sure that they didn't make it too serious because when you think about the nature of the movie, it could be totally serious. Everything from Gun to Robotnik to Shadow, like the Emerald in itself, everything could be taken serious. Because even Tails was like, "Hey, you want me to go to Siberia with you? I'm just here to relay a message and warn you, because I
Yeah,
knew Knuckles was coming." So that's all I wanted to do because apparently, when Sonic did that quick run around the bases at the end of the first movie, it sent out a signal
that's when they
to
flew
where Tails had been tracking Sonic.
Yeah, in which I I'm glad that they actually referenced stuff from the first movie and not pretend like it didn't happen.
Right.
I'm glad they did
Yep.
that. But what else did I want to talk about before we get to Shadow, because that is a whole thing in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
Got to give it to the representation of when they go to the temple that actually has the Master Emerald in it. It
Mm-hmm.
reminds me of Sonic Adventure 1, that base you had to go to.
Yeah.
I'm like, you talking about somebody having PTSD?
Yeah.
Like, I remember this. I remember this level.
Because you see all the traps every time Robotnik and Knuckles took a step.
Yeah.
Something was either trying to shoot darts, nails and spikes. Like something was happening every single time. And then the funny part about that is Sonic got there in a record-breaking time, not because he was super fast, but he just fell through
Yeah.
the ceiling and landed where they were.
He
So
activated every trap. He pretty much activated. And you can hear him activating the traps, which I thought was hilarious.
yeah,
Because they stopped and like, what is he doing up there?
tearing up the place.
Yeah. So I'm sitting back and I don't know if you had a problem with this, but I didn't mind the pop culture references because I think they actually made sense in regards to what they had already set up in the first one.
Right.
Because some people don't like when they do that. Like he called Knuckles the Winter Soldier when he
Right. Right.
I'm like, but dude, if you watch the first movie, that's all he was doing was watching movies and reading comics.
Yeah, catching himself up with society in general. Yeah.
Yeah. So I expect him to do that. I also expect Robotnik being insane to start stuff off too. So I'm like, I know people don't like that, but I'm like, in the context of this film, it actually works, and they didn't. And once again, they didn't overdo it.
Right. Right. And the one thing I will say that they added, and they had to find a way to do it, but it's something so subtle, but everybody will know what I'm talking about when I say it. When Sonic makes it underwater and trying to save Knuckles, and he has to suck in that bubble to make sure that he keeps up his energy. And everybody's been in those levels where you go and you get the bubble. And then if you don't, and that happens, now they don't play the music, but that happens.
Which was odd. I thought they were going to.
Yeah,
I
thought
they were
going to do everything else. That was perfect.
Yeah.
And that goes to show you, like, I don't understand it. It's always been that way in the games. Sonic just plummets straight down to the bottom every time when he's in water. So they did the same thing with this. He helps Knuckles. Knuckles goes to the top. He blacks out, but Knuckles comes back and gets him. And then that's when they have their dialogue as far as like their similarities. Because that was the key thing of Knuckles like, hey, I lost everything that day that war popped off. And Sonic was like, I lost everything too. So it's not like, I was fighting alongside him. I was just a little kid at the time. Same way as you. So we're just kind of victims of that war. And now we kind of have our, I guess you could say, destinies, but let's not let it affect what Robotnik crazy ass is doing. So it's a whole thing.
Which is actually funny because when they actually do when they actually tell the truth of what happened,
right?
It was because one of the echidna generals went crazy.
Yep.
That it wasn't because because they made it seem like Longclaw them was just like, or they just went at him.
Yeah, no, some BS. Yeah,
that's not what happened. Dude got the Master Emerald and decided he was gonna take over everything. Yeah, and like you can't do that.
Right.
So they had to stop him, and that's when they came and hit it on Earth.
Hmm.
Now, I did. Now, I've already said I like the CG. One of the things that I actually like was, and you saw the beginning of it in the trailer, but when he actually runs on water to get to the temple,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that scene, the way they did it, it
Not only is it amazing from a visual standpoint, but it's consistent. And what I mean by that is Sonic had already been getting beat down before he got there. So once when he found out, like, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta save people, this is my job type thing, he's trying to run across like miles worth of water. So this is not like some across the street type thing.
nah.
And then not to mention it's a storm on top of it. So he's getting beat up by the waves. He's having to run up waves. And then eventually, it just beats him and he craps out. But I like the fact that they stay consistent and him just being tired and going through a whole bunch of crap between Robotnik, almost taking tails out with the bomb that he shot and just him going through it this entire movie.
Which, by the way, that was cold hearted. I'm like,
Yeah.
bruh. I'm like, okay, dog. First of all, like, this is a kids movie.
Yeah.
Like, you shot that missile right at Tails' head.
Like to the point to where for a portion of the movie, Sonic was like, My friend needs help. I think my friend is dying. Like my friend needs help." Yeah.
And they did a good job of making you seem like, is Tails gonna make it out of
Yeah,
this?
Tails about to get up out of here. Like,
Like, because like when you see it in the movie, because when you see it, Tails is actually helping Sonic get down that mountain.
right,
And when you see it comes out of left field, because you're like, okay, Robotnik, you ain't got no your beef was with Sonic. You ain't got
right,
no beef with Tails. And he just like, screw it.
right.
Like,
You with him, you going with him.
yeah.
That's what it is.
Which is how the whole getting to Hawaii thing happens
You're right.
with Sonic. But uh, I got to give him that, and we got to talk about the fight, the last fight between Knuckles and Sonic
Right.
in the temple. That thing was beautifully shot.
Yes. Yes. Like seeing Sonic throw hands. Because I thought for sure, because he had been already alluding to it throughout the movie of just using that spin
Yeah,
the entire time, even with traveling or even attacking. But to see him actually throw a punch and connect on Knuckles a few times, I'm like, okay, Sonic, I see you.
like
You can fight.
Sonic actually knows what he's doing when it comes to these fights. So
Yeah.
now, to be fair, there is a certain section of the fight where they lifted straight from Sonic X.
Yeah.
They're like,
Hmm.
bruh, that is straight plagiarism.
Right.
But in the context of how they showed the fight, like I said, they played with the lights. They knock, like, there's one scene where Sonic kicks Knuckles into a wall, and
Hmm.
when the camera pans back around, all you see is red. You see it's like the Darth Vader scene from Rogue
Yeah.
One. All you see,
Hmm.
first thing you see is the red of his eyes, and then you see his quills. And I'm like, then he comes out, he uppercuts Sonic up into the air and through a waterfall. You
Hmm.
see the waterfall, and all you see is blue. I'm like, bruh, this
They
is dope.
they went all out. It may not have been a long fight,
Yeah,
but it was key and it was beautifully put together,
and then Jim Carrey was Jim Carrey
ruining everything. 'Cause-
in a hilarious way.
but it's also too, it was adding to the gullible nature of Knuckles,
Yeah,
because Knuckles is by the book and it's like, hey, we had a partnership. Yeah, I broke your hand when I shook it, but I trust you to help me not only get the Master Emerald, but to take care of Sonic. And then when the time came, he realized that Robotnik wanted to do his own thing.
yeah,
He wanted the Master Emerald because he was actually, remember, he was about to take Knuckles out before Sonic showed up.
yeah,
He was about to take him out.
yeah.
And but luckily Sonic fell through the floor and, kind of stopped that whole thing. But that now in the games, has Robotnik ever used the
No,
Master Emerald at all? No, that's what I
no.
figured. Yeah.
What would usually happen is he'd get like one or two of them, and he'd get one or two of the Chaos Emeralds, and it'd be a race against time, basically.
Right.
Um, and then he'd wind up doing something stupid, and then have to team up with everybody to save the world. Because as much
Right.
as Robotnik is evil, he don't want the whole world to be destroyed.
Right.
So, like Sonic Adventure 2, he wound up having to help them beat the life form.
Right.
because if he don't, the whole world gets destroyed. He didn't want that.
Right.
So it's one of those situations like Robotnik. The way they play off Robotnik, yeah, he he's himself, but he's not. He's evil, but he ain't that evil. He ain't evil to
Right.
the point of where, well, screw it. He ain't Frieza levels of evil.
Who is?
Yeah,
Because
like,
that,
oh, I'm losing. Bam.
yeah, Frieza is like, yo, if I'm dying, you dying. That
Yeah,
is
I can
it.
breathe in space. You can't.
There's no if I'm not the winner, no one's the winner. You hear me? Like,
So Robotnik ain't that in the as
right.
far as the games are concerned. But for this, um, and once again, the way Jim Carrey plays it and the way his little assistant slash slave slash sycophant,
That dude.
that dude is hilarious though. I kind of felt bad for him because he did put a lot of work in that coffee art.
I mean, every time, because the dude is like, he does this every time.
Yeah, to a T.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So Stone, he's in the movie, but what, maybe 3-4 scenes, maybe.
Yeah, if
He
even
ain't
that.
in there that long. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now Robotnik does get the Master Emerald, so that third act is off the chain because the third act is where the Easter eggs start throwing in. Sonic Adventure 2. The big one is Sonic Heroes. There's a full-on Sonic Heroes moment in this movie. That's why I was like, okay. So couple that with the end of the movie and with the post-credit scene, which we're going to get to in a minute. Yeah, there's going to be some more characters that are going to have to show up.
They have no choice.
Yeah, they have no choice.
They kind of force their own hand with this, and I get it because Sonic doesn't give you much to work with. It really doesn't as a franchise.
It's the cast.
It's the cast, and you have to make something happen. So if you stretch this too far, this can either be worn out or your movies can get pretty dull pretty fast because it's only like, okay, you've introduced the Master Emerald. It broke, but then also got put back together. So I'm assuming they're going to do that again.
Right. Can do that.
Right. So you got the Emerald aspect, you got the enemy aspect, you got the friendship aspect, and then I mean, I guess you can introduce these animals, which I don't know exactly how that's going to work, but that's Sonic only gives you so much to work with.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to start pushing everything as soon as possible now. They're getting real brave pushing a 3, and that's because of what we're talking about later on. But when it comes down to that Sonic Heroes moment, I really enjoyed it. That was like the first thing that popped in my head when I saw it. And I'm like, that's fantastic.
It's the cover. They basically put the cover of the game in the movie.
And I like that too, because it served a purpose. It wasn't just a transition scene to where it's like, okay, they're running fast to go find Robotnik. No, they had already found him in that big robot that he created with the Master Emerald. And then they use it as like, okay, Sonic, he wants you. So you be the decoy, and then me and Tails will do what we need to do with the robot. But I enjoyed it.
I thought that whole entire third act was just shot beautifully.
Yeah.
And then to find out that Jim Carrey ad-libbed most of that.
That's like, crazy.
Bro, that's awesome. That's awesome. So
yeah, I mean, now, he did his things with the robot and his acting as far as like how to make the robot move and just being crazy because he has that Master Emerald inside of him. And it was just watching that all happen and to keep playing on everything spawning throughout the movie for Sonic. Sonic was done. Like, there was no blue blur at this point. Like, he was out of energy. He was done. Like, if his family didn't show up, Sonic would have been dead.
Yeah, he would die. Because Tails and Knuckles weren't gonna be able to get to him in time.
No,
they just wasn't. And like the way, and I like the way that they did. This movie only takes place over a day and a half.
Yeah,
because and they make sure to let you know that because when he gets from Siberia to Hawaii, they say like, dude, it's just been a day.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and Sonic at that point he was half tired.
Yeah, because at that point, because before he went to Siberia, he had been up destroying the house the entire day.
Yeah.
Partying, acting a fool by himself with the dog, and just showing out. And then you chilling once when you on the phone, but then next thing you know, somebody's at the door. It's Robotnik and Knuckles. trying to kill you.
Yeah.
So from that night all the way until the middle of the day after,
Yeah.
Sonic was done throughout the entire movie. He had been up that entire time going through hell, just
Yeah.
trying to save the world.
And like the end of the, because yes, he does go Super Saiyan. Yes.
And that's where I was like, man, they got me, because I didn't expect the Master Emerald to break in half.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect him to turn Super Saiyan but Supersonic this movie.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I keep saying Super Saiyan because that's exactly what it is.
Because you got to pay homage, because even
Yeah.
right now with One Piece has gone that route with this last episode with Luffy.
Yep.
So Super Saiyan is just iconic, and everybody just fed off of it.
Yeah. So I agree, because I was trying to think of like how the hell are they gonna get him out of this? And when I was in the theater, I'm like, there's only one way to get him out of this. He gotta go super. That's the only way for him to get out of this. And then with like because the way they did the shot of when the emerald broke, the emerald breaks, but you don't immediately see the 7 chaos emeralds.
Right. Yeah.
Because they're real small. They made sure that they were really small.
Yep.
So you don't see them. Then all of a sudden, he basically he was an asshole.
Just ready to stomp him out. Just all right, cool, you're dead.
And next thing you know, you're like, the camera pans back and you start seeing the robot, and you're like, and Robot's like, what the hell? And you see him basically go Super Saiyan, and it's basically the Trunk scene from when Trunks show up and has to walk back out the hole with Frieza's death ball. I'm like, oh snap! And he basically does what Sonic does when he's Super Saiyan.
Yeah, and he just goes crazy, just tearing that robot apart.
Now I did find it funny. So he spins around, he tears it up, and he spins around, cuts the head of the robot off. So it's just him and Robotnik, and he just looks down at him and just taps the robot. Yep. He's like, "Oh, it's like that."
As he's falling back.
Yeah. Like, dude, come on, man. Like, come on, dude. So yeah, I did like it. So they made it look like it would look from the game, as far as him being Super Sonic. Like with him actually with the hair, with the quill standing up like Goku. And and him just flying all over the place. And I did like that, because normally the way they explained it in the lore of the movie, if you take the Master Emerald, you go crazy. But he didn't.
Yeah, exactly. And Knuckles even referenced that, because once they wanted to hug him, he was like, "Nope, don't do it, because the Sonic that you once knew is gone." But then when he summoned that chili dog, they was like, "Nah, I was wrong. He's the same Sonic."
But the thing is, and if you go back, you got to remember, at the other part of the film, they show what happened to the other echidna. They saw what happened to Robotnik. They all went crazy. And so, I don't know how you get crazy there.
Situation. So, like, you think they're gonna play on the fact that he's the chosen one?
No, but if they do, let's go and get to that post-credit scene.
Right.
So the post-credit scene is basically the beginning of Sonic Adventure 2.
Yep.
Shadow story. They found out, well, Gunn is on site, and they find out that there was a breach. They found an old file under a whole bunch of other files about Project Shadow, and they actually do the scene where you see the capsule rise and Shadow's in it, chained up and his eyes open.
Yeah.
And they said it's from 50 years ago.
Right.
It's Sonic Adventure 2 Shadow story at the beginning. So Shadow is now introduced for 3. Here's where I think it's going to get a little bit interesting, because one, Jim Carrey has said that he plans this to be his last movie.
Yeah.
He wants to retire. I'm cool with that. You don't have to bring Robotnik back.
No, you don't have to.
But you have to bring in Gerald. But I don't know how you do that.
No.
I don't know how you do that. I don't know if you Dr. Gero it. I don't know, because remember, Gerald was another one he went insane. Like, he went insane, and they, to the point where in the games, they even Robotnik was like, yeah, he kind of lost it. Like,
that's crazy when somebody crazy call you crazy.
Yeah, so I don't know how you. I don't know what you do, but you kind of need to bring him in. And if anything, I would probably do a Doctor Dro and make it where he made himself one of his
Mm-hmm.
robots. That's way you can actually bring another character, another actor in. Only thing is, that's a hard shoe to follow if you got to follow Jim Carrey crazy ass.
Well, to me, I don't even think the person would have to follow because the way that they cut it short with the humans this time around, I got
Do
a
it
feeling it's
again.
gonna be even shorter
Yeah,
because there's really you kind of just do the premise because I already know they're probably gonna start off of like, hey, how the relationship has built across Tails, Sonic, and Knuckles,
yeah,
and because we saw the ending, they were out playing baseball and Knuckles got excited because he punched the ball and knocked
yeah.
it instead of hitting it with the bat and just kind of playing into that whole I am Groot aspect of it, you know. But I think that's what they're gonna say, like, okay, well, this is how my family has built since then, and I feel like they're going to do a introduction of other characters,
Mhm.
because it's been like over time kind of thing.
So you
So
think it
because
is
you
gonna be like a time jump?
yeah, yeah. So they're going to do a time jump because you remember at the end of the movie two, once again they thought Robotnik was dead, like they thought in the first movie.
Yeah,
But the like the girl said, I don't. We thought that last time. He's probably not dead. But even if that is the case, we'll probably see. Okay, Sonic saying, "Hey, you know, Tails and Knuckles have been here. We've been guarding the Master Emerald. You know, been doing a good job of it." And then more people showed up, so they might introduce Amy, and just kind of like, "Hey, you know, I'm a big fan of Sonic." Da da da. And that's when I feel like they'll slowly start mentioning the adult, like the humans, and say like,
mm.
okay, well they've been accepting, and even with that with this movie, the Donut Lord, if you will, made he kind of hinted at it, like Sonic doesn't have a crew in a
Yeah.
way. And yes, they kind of played on that with Tails and Knuckles, but I feel like it's going to keep adding. And with that, then that's when you can kind of say, okay, you have your friends. He's gotten older, so now it's time for you to kind of go out on your own. And then, bam, it kind of go into that and just leave the human aspect of it completely out.
Until you just like need just for the little stuff that you need them for.
Right, kind of like let's come and save him. We haven't seen him in a while. We found out he's in trouble. Bam. All right, we're here. Glad we came to visit type thing.
Yeah, because they can stay in Green Hill. Just have all of
Angry.
them stay in Green Hill. So
Yeah.
that I don't think they need to move the the city of the show. I don't think they need to do that. I mean, of the movie, they just keep it in Green Hill. Just have everybody. Other thing too is, since like because Sonic Adventure 2, Rouge was an agent of gun, so
Yep.
I can see them actually finding out like if she comes over, them hiring her.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I can see that. Um, I can see how this can work. The only other thing too is Shadow was never really a villain.
No, he wasn't.
So because the real villain of that game was the
Chaos.
living the life form
Yeah.
that
Mm-hmm.
big iguana on the side
Oh
of
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that thing. So
Yeah.
because that was the thing they were trying. That's the thing that Gerald built that they were trying to that Maria accidentally got shot over.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be interesting to see how they play that because if you got Shadow in there, you kind of have to have Maria
Yeah, you
because
have to.
you
Which
kind of
is
have to have
weird.
yeah. It's weird, but it actually makes sense.
Yeah.
So and the Chaos Emeralds have to show up, but this time you got to make them the right size. You can't have them that small.
Super tiny like that. Yeah.
You got away with it in this movie just because it made visual sense when it
Yeah.
happened,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't have them that small no more.
Right.
No. Really, when you think about it, the Master Emerald's supposed to be way bigger than that.
Way bigger because I mean it's it's bigger than Sonic. Like it's huge.
It's huge. It's
Yeah.
because yeah, it's just huge. So I'm actually interested in because I actually like the character of Shadow. The only thing I didn't like was that Shadow the Hedgehog game because I was like, why y'all gave him a gun? He don't need it.
Well, I was actually watching something on that, and it was the fans' fault. Yeah, because they went on and they did like a Q&A,
I'm not
and
surprised.
they went through like this whole thing of like who likes gun games and surveys and all this other stuff, and then that's when they had a survey that was we're talking about characters with guns, and they were like, well, which character would fit in Shadow? Yep. So I mean, it was the same thing that a lot of developers fall into, to where you see a trend of the
and you
gaming
try
market
to,
go in one way,
yeah,
but you don't have the foundation to even do that, but you try it anyway. Like we all knew at that time, like Call of Duty was popping off,
yeah, yeah,
and all those different type of gun games. Like every time you turn around, it was a damn World War II game,
yeah,
and just like if somebody told me, okay, you got to survive by making a game where people had to shoot, and all I had was Sonic on my repertoire, I'm not doing it. But that's what Sega went with.
yeah. That, big
Because even you
mistake.
think about what Black does, what Sonic and was it the Black Knight or something like
Yeah,
that?
Sonic the Black Knight was actually not bad.
I just don't understand the premise of that. I don't.
Well, I understand that one. Me and Shadowfire actually talked about that one. That was actually kind of like a spinoff of a spinoff.
Okay, so it's
So
not something that's
it's
main, if you will.
not
Okay,
something that's main. They was just messing around with a new engine they made, and it
gotcha.
actually made sense to
Okay,
how they did it. So, but yeah, it's one of those situations because the Sonic games, they're up and down. I
all
mean,
the
to be
time.
fair, I mean, for every good one you get, you're gonna probably get two bad ones.
Yeah, or down in mid, because I
Yeah,
wouldn't even say up, but it's
yeah.
like, but then that
Um,
could just be me, because the Sonic crowd, I think they love almost every game, but for the ones that are good, they really love those games.
yeah, yeah. Like to me, my favorite is still between Sonic Heroes and Sonic Adventure 2.
Mine would be between two and what was the one on the three on the DS?
Brotherhood,
No, not that one. The one with the purple
Blaze, the one with Blaze Cat.
Blaze, yeah.
I don't remember the name, but I know which one you're talking. It's
Yeah.
Rush, Sonic Rush.
Yeah, Rush. That's the one, because I mean it's like the art style and the way they changed it up made sense. And then plus the implementation of the two screens, I like that. Like going from the top to the bottom. So
Yeah,
I like those games. But outside of that, honestly, I didn't really get a chance to play Heroes at the time, and then trying to emulate Heroes is a mess.
yeah. That
Um,
it's not worth it.
it's,
It's not worth
it's a
it, to
mess.
be
But
fair.
other than that, I mean, Generations was cool. Boom was cool if it was done right.
Yeah,
But yeah, Sonic to me has never had like a top tier Sonic game for me, and I've been playing Sonic since its inception. Like
yeah.
I was, I went to as a kid. I was taken to this store that was, it was a TV store,
Mhm.
but they also partnered with Sega to sell Segas. And every screen had Sonic on it. You were not buying a TV without seeing Sonic playing on one of those TVs. And then that's where we got the Sega from, and just kind of sitting in there playing Sonic and having it on my Game Gear and everything. So I've had the games. It's just, to me, the concept of Sonic mixed with the speed doesn't add up to me. Like,
Especially with the platforming elements, because
yeah,
you have to stop too much. That's one of the main issues with like Sonic Colors.
yeah, yeah,
Sonic
yeah,
Colors is a fun game when they give you a straightaway,
yeah.
and that's half the problem. Some of
Mhm.
those designs on those 16 and 32-bit games were easy because were better because that's what you had to work with. So
Right.
you didn't have to worry about having to switch to 3D space and all that stuff. But now that
Hmm.
you're trying to switch, and I probably need to play this for that. I got mine, but Sonic Lost World was another one that I found to have a lot of fun with, even though a lot of people didn't like it.
Yeah, I mean, it
I
was just really different.
Yeah,
That's all.
I understand why they didn't like it. I had fun with it though, so that's why I was
Yeah,
like, it's
I think
one of
it's
those
just a
situations.
matter of Sega has to just find the right formula for Sonic, because where they messed up, to me, if you look at something like Mario, and I hate to use Mario as a comparison, but it's
Well,
the most successful
that,
platforming game.
that's what it went at. That's what
That's
they
where it
went
went.
after. Yeah,
Exactly. So I mean, you look at Mario, okay, jump man. He has to jump, and that's what you think about with platformers. And then yeah, we'll add some powers in there that'll make it a little bit easier for you. When you look at Sonic, I don't know too many games that do well trying to have speed as their foundation. If you're not doing like a endless runner, or if you're not doing racers or anything like that, it's hard to have a successful fast paced game like that. And especially you trying to put it in the platforming where you're supposed to be specific and careful and make sure that you can get on every platform or even skip platforms, that's like that can be considered a challenge, but it's the levels are still not even constructed the right way sometimes because Sonic's too fast for the level, so sometimes he flies off and messes up the entirety of the doggone game. So,
Yeah,
so
yeah. I mean, that's half the problem. But I mean, so let me ask you this one last thing before we get out of here because we're about to hit an hour. Do you think that the reception of this bodes well for Mario when it drops in December for the Mario movie?
mm,
Because the Mario movie is supposed to be fully CG, so that
yeah,
should be that it's going to be a little bit different. But do you think that because they were able to make this work and they've been able to make it work for two movies,
yeah, they
do you
did it
think
for
that's
two
going to
movies.
help? You know, because look, let's be honest. Outside of Mortal Kombat, the 1995 Mortal Kombat,
Right.
video game movies haven't been doing
Because I felt
nothing
like
really.
there was one more that actually I always think about Detective Pikachu.
Well, yeah, but that game came after the movie came out. Even though I think they were
Was
working on it
was the
before.
American version came after? Because I know the Japanese one's been out for a minute.
It might have been the American version. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know,
Because I
but
know with Japanese one, they were already supposed to have episode 2, and everybody's still waiting on episode 2. It's
yeah,
just I don't even think it's happening. But
and then not at this
um,
point because that was a handheld. So
right. So the way I look at it is Detective Pikachu for me, video game movie wise, kicked it off.
okay.
Sonic is raising the level. To me, I think this more or less hurts Mario. And the reason
Mhm.
why I say that is if Mario don't show out,
Oh yeah, that's gonna
it's a wrap because now we're kind of getting off that negative mindset of all video games being bad,
yeah.
video
All
game
video game
movies being
movies,
bad.
yeah.
And to me, even with Sonic, when I mentioned on the show this past week, if Frontier doesn't do well,
Oh yeah,
Sonic
dude.
may be an exclusive movie thing because that's where it's succeeding. The games are not doing that well.
Yeah, because
At least with Mario, they could fall back.
yeah, it made a lot of money this weekend.
Oh yeah, for
It
sure.
made a lot of money this weekend. I think they were closing in on 100 mil, and
Right,
for that, you got to understand for a video game movie, that's really good.
right,
That's
right,
really
right.
good.
So for me, I kind of have to see the premise kind of the same way with Sonic.
Mm,
I mean, Mario doesn't really have a story either. Hey,
not
this
really.
chick got kidnapped again. Let's go.
Yeah,
So it's like,
basically. Yeah,
so it's like, there's nothing laid out for the developer.
yeah.
They have to come up with ideas. So I'm curious, but to me, and this is just side note, I felt like if they were going to do their first movie, I get it. Mario is the household name. I would have went with Luigi to do the mansion thing.
I would either went Luigi's Mansion or I would have went Zelda first. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm just go with something that actually has a story. Like Mario, like I said, Mario don't really.
you don't have no story,
I mean, you can make a cartoon or an anime out of it,
right?
but you kind of can't really.
This girl I really like is faking being kidnapped because
Oh
she
my
likes
goodness,
foreplay.
Odyssey. Oh my goodness, Odyssey made it seem like really. So you just let.
I'm telling you, like everybody's hinted at it, but
Yeah,
Odyssey made it worse.
yeah,
Like she just got a kink of
yes.
being kidnapped. That's
And Bowser too simpish to understand it,
right, and so
and
was
Mario
Mario.
too and Mario too dumb to realize it. Ain't nothing
realize
gonna happen to her if he go after
realize
her.
Mario is putting his life on the line
Yeah,
for your fetish,
yeah.
and then
And Bowser's a simp, not realizing that, like, bruh, she don't like you, dude. She don't even like you,
she don't
dude.
like neither one of y'all.
Yeah,
But yeah, y'all going out of your way. Y'all hate each other because of her.
yeah. Dude, Mario, if you haven't played Super Mario Odyssey, do yourself a favor. You'll laugh, and you'll probably get mad because it'll probably trick you. Especially that ending. The ending's gonna trigger you.
Because you got to team up with your enemy to make sure that you make it out alive.
Because she
Then when
leaves.
right, and then
And
it's
your ship.
like, all right, cool, bet. All right, we survived. Who you going with? Me or him? Neither one. I'm going on vacation.
I'm out.
Deuces. Like
Peace.
what? I came to the moon for you. People said head over heels. I came to the moon for you.
In
Yeah.
this five tux.
In the
With
tub.
a top hat.
And then if I'm Bowser, heifer, I went around the world and collected everything to make this wedding bomb. I left my nice castle, beautiful castle. That level is beautiful.
Yeah, that level is beautiful. I'm not gonna lie.
Amazing castle, and we having a wedding on the moon
With one chapel.
with one chapel, and I gave you this huge rock, and you gonna tell me neither one of us? Yeah, Peach would never be saved again. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. So,
Because in the spinoff games like the Mario and Luigi games, like there are other villains, but yeah,
like Fawful and all of them. Yeah,
right. But as far as Mario and Bowser go, I'll be done with Peach, dude. That ain't no way in the world. I'll be done with her.
We're gonna have to, and one of these days on the podcast, we're gonna have to actually have an introspective about Super Mario Odyssey, because that thing was like,
Yeah.
wow, y'all really went there. I'm like,
there's so many backs, because if you think about it, if you think too much into Mario, there's a lot of separate pieces. Because the children situation with Bowser, the situation that we discussed right now with Peach. I know I saw something the other day that was like, hey, is Mario kind of like the son of Jumpman, the same way we think that the Donkey Kong at that time with Jumpman is Cranky Kong, and then Donkey Kong was Donkey Kong Jr. kind of thing. So I mean it's got a lot of lore to it if you got an imagination, but because Nintendo don't give you much to play with, but
especially not on Mario, not on Mario, like
not at
stuff
all.
like Metroid and Zelda and Star Fox, you got story.
Oh, you got lore all day.
But Mario, nah, and Luigi's Mansion was just them finally giving Luigi a game because they wasn't adding them. Because they wouldn't add them to the other stuff no more.
Right. Which, by the way, I mean, if they don't keep playing on that, they are stupid if they don't continue playing on Mansions.
Yeah. So
because that's his household game right there. Like
that's why. You know what, you are right. That's why they probably should have went that route.
Yeah. Because I mean, honestly, it would make more sense.
Yeah.
Because you talking about the different levels of floors, the different enemies. The CG, all that. I mean, it would have. You
could play off the whole horror aspect, so you can make a horror comedy. Well, not a horror, but an actual comedy.
Yeah, I mean, beat out where Ghostbusters messed up. Yeah. I mean, you really could step in those Halloween movies. Yeah, they win.
They especially because that's a dead month.
Yeah,
but all right, people, let us know what you guys thought of Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Do you like where it's going? Do you think it's too early for Shadow? Do you think they need to show everybody else like Big the Cat, Rouge, Amy, Cream, all of them? I don't know. Please, but whatever you do, please don't bring in Silver. Please don't bring in nobody from
Bro,
06.
If I see Silver with this telekinesis, dude, I'm not even going to finish watching the movie. I'm going to walk out. I did not see nothing Silver related at all.
That 06 game, don't even go there.
No,
don't even go there.
That's Dragon Ball GT for me. No, nope.
Sega don't even want to go there no more. Don't even go there. So, leave a comment. Let us know what you guys think. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. We do have the Winging It podcast on Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think we got a pretty good list. I was working on the list today, so hope you guys stand around. We're all gonna have a PSA moment though. We got to have a come to Jesus meeting. Before the podcast.
Oh yeah.
We got unfortunately we got to have a come to Jesus meeting, but it's not gonna take long, people. No. But unfortunately, we do have to have that. But join us on podcast Sunday. Also, join me and Vicky from Fangirl Review. Hopefully, another one of our friends will be able to make it on Sunday for our fresh take of Moon Knight episode 3 and Halo episode 4 review. So check us out on that as well. Jack, anything you want to pimp out?
Nah, man. I mean, other than, of course, like you already said, show on Sunday, 7 Eastern Standard Time. Just come and check it out and share, comment, comment with some sense. But
please, with
nevertheless,
and boundaries.
Right. We're on Twitter. I mean, we're accessible. Yeah. So I mean, if you want to talk video games, if you want to talk ideas, I mean, we're there for it. I mean, we don't like to regurgitate what's happening in gaming news because for the most part it's dead. Unless it's funny. Because when the gaming news is dead, we have stupid stories like, oh, Breath of the Wild 2 is too big for the Switch. Said close creators, not people that's working on the game, but people that are close to the situation. IGN. So we can talk.
Foundry.
Right. We can talk. I love to talk to people on Twitter that got some sense. I don't always like to be the one to go at people. That's why I kind of fall off sometimes. But just definitely check out the show, share, like, comment, subscribe, and then come mess with us on Twitter.
Yeah. Also check out the links if you guys don't have time to watch. We do have the audio version available on Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Breaker Radio, and Anchor. So there's multiple ways for you guys to listen to it. So
Right.
as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting. We will see you guys on Sunday. So with that being said, peace out, peoples.